Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? I have to warn you, A, I'm going to be grumpy. B, I'm going to be giving you my opinion the best I can. And C, I have 4 days left in my monthly fundraiser that I do to save THORnews. And so I got $450 to go, and I would like to thank Nina, Dawn, Athena, Lynn, Robert, Chris, Jacqueline, Janine, Jean, Richard, and Robert, and pray for Florida. Yes, we all will. So if you want to help support me and all my tireless work, you can send me a letter at TLewison, 5430 Birdwood Road, number 416, Houston, Texas 77096. I got a PayPal link, a Venmo link. All right, now let us get to it. We have a Category 4 hurricane that looks like it will become a Category 5 hurricane. And after models have spent the last 36 hours tending east, they are now showing signs of trending west. And I'd mentioned before, models have a tendency to do a windshield wiper effect, to where they tend west and they tend east and they tend west and they swing back. And as we've seen with this story, I'm going to remind you, down the 25th, they said it was nothing. On the 26th, they said it was nothing. And it was like, it's going to hit. 27th, it would hit Florida as a tropical storm. 28th, it hit Florida as a hurricane. 29th, it will hit Florida as a Category 4. And the 30th, oh no, it's not going to hit Florida. It might even curve out to sea. Today, it doesn't look like it's going to hit Florida. And it's got a chance of curving out to sea. And so now the model's kind of tracking west. Rob Lightbound, 12Z guidance so far, all have trended a little back to the west, with forecast track of Dorian. All so far, except for the CMC. Still keep Dorian's eye offshore of East Florida coast, but barely. CMC bounces the eye on and off the coast from Titusville to Jacksonville. But as a public service announcement to show both sides, Akoi Mari says, please stop. This thing is nowhere near a monster storm. It's a Category 1 in that cool water. Cool water? Water isn't even warm. Y'all better start doing your own research. Media, all of these folks are lying for panic. Yeah, that's right. I like to create panic because I like to have sex with panic. I don't even understand what that means. But we are being hit with a G2 solar storm. And when the sun acts weird, Earth weather acts weird. And people act weird. And as I always say, take the weird weather watch up a notch. I think we hit a KP6 and the BZ was tipping. Oh, hey, and here we're looking at pyroclastic flow coming out of a Stromboli volcano. Pyroclastic flow is like 1300 degree gray mud. It is the stuff sci-fi horror films are made of. A state of emergency has been declared for South Carolina ahead of Hurricane Dorian because this thing has potential to rake all the way up the coast, doing major damage to multiple states. We have a low in the Gulf that has a chance of developing, and then we have a wave coming off Africa that looks like a monster and will develop. Bill Cairns, showing us the latest GFS, is starting to track a little to the west, but it keeps the hurricane just off the coast. And so everybody needs to prepare for the just in case west shift. The king of weather Twitter, whose blog I will leave linked for you in the information box, just to fully clarify, these are speculative observations. They get you to the weak zone where it will stall and then await cues to turn north. It is yet unknown how far into the weak steering current it can get and when and how much it wants to turn thereafter. Back in a few hours. Yeah, so here is Florida. And I said, I think the farthest east it would go would be 100 miles about here, 100 miles off the shore. And so even at 100 miles, it's going to cause some impacts, and I have a fear it could curve inwards. But if there is weakness, and it has shown signs of weakness, please refer to the video right before this one, where I went into like 5 different points of why I think it could hit Florida, or it will hit Florida. And I got to say, I think Dorian is going to dance south below the Bahamas like the typhoon Lakima did with Japan. They got the good luck, and I think Miami may get the bad luck. So notice how the hurricane then flips and dips right around the islands. It saved a lot of lives. And so my weird feeling, it is up to you to do your own diligence, make your own decisions, make your own calls. But what I think is going to happen is it is then going to dip south, and that southward turn is then going to take it back up, and it may or may not make landfall, but I think it's going to go up the coast. It will probably definitely make landfall in Carolina, but that is right now, that is what I think. I think it's going to head forward to these islands, dip down through them, come down, hit around here, and then go up. And it's best to be prepared for a worst case scenario. And so I'm just telling you what I think could possibly happen. And I'm not doing it to scare anyone. This is just my gut feeling. It's always hard to display, but I have been watching these models nonstop, and many of them have shown a southwest movement around the islands. And there are multiple factors at stake here. And so, 2 days ago, they were sure it was going to hit Florida. And then yesterday and today, they're like, oh, no, it's not going to hit Florida. I have a feeling it's going to start trending west again. And as I've said since April, I've been talking about the September hurricane since April, that if you see a hurricane coming your way that is a Cat 3 or higher, if you are on the coastal areas, I would evacuate. I would go somewhere safer. And hopefully I'll be wrong and it won't make landfall anywhere and it will just curve out to sea. But if it doesn't and it makes landfall and then goes up the coast, it is going to bring some heavy rain, crazy storm surge, super winds. So I don't think Florida is safe by a long shot. The earlier NAM showed eye-popping totals. This is 19.3 inches of rain every 3 hours. The Popocatépetl volcano in Mexico is going off today, like it's been going off every day all year. So add that into the atmospheric and heat variables. John Morales letting us know if it doesn't dip south, that I count 24 hours in which the core of a major Hurricane Dorian would spend over the Abacos, according to the NHC. Please prepare today. And if you're on these islands and can get off them, I would advise it. It looks like a monster to me. It may not be the biggest hurricane ever, but it is packing over 150 mile per hour winds, and it still has 3 days to possibly strengthen to a Category 5. Euro, too close for comfort with its southwestward trend over the northern Bahamas. Like he's the southwestern trend. And a lot of the models have been showing it, no matter what, do some type of southerly dip. See there, it's even a little, but, small movements by the hurricane can have major implications to its track. Michael Ventris, here's the forecast just 90 hours out, and look at the dramatic differences in the placement of Hurricane Dorian, comparing the Euro and the GFS models. The Euro is much closer to southeastern Florida compared to the GFS. And so, like, the whole 3-card Monte game of the models is ridiculous, really. But we play it. And so, I think it's going to be closer to the Euro. It may not make landfall, but if it comes like 50 more miles, 60 more miles into Florida, it will be a disaster up the coast of epic proportions. And it's lit all over. We could see a parade of hurricanes. Cranky weather guy again. Plausible scenario. Ridge busting weakness moves too fast. Ridge knows, rebuilds, or tracks with Dorian. Dorian becomes the coastal menace as it makes its further west onto the dead steering current zone. And so, like, this is really like the little window we're playing with. And that is why I think that, if it trends any more west, it's devastating. See, I highly recommend Cranky's blog, and he's on fire with Twitter today. But you've got multiple factors that are not nailed down, and so this corridor here, this is the difference between life and possibly multiple deaths. This portion of the broadcast is from entertainment only. Sam Lillo, the NAM 3KM, drops 91 inches of rain in 24 hours. Probably not going to break the world record by 20 inches. But that being said, the Bahamas are going to get a lot of rain. And in 2017, we got over 50 inches of rain in Hawaii and then one other place. So getting a 40, and then we got 50 in Harvey. So getting 50 inches of rain in certain spots with this thing, especially if it has a stall feature, are possible. And a worst case scenario is if it dips down, comes down here, and then stalls right over Miami. It's possible. I consider the weird Shrek baby face a bad omen. You don't have to, though. I recommend watching the video I did before this. The thumbnail looks like this. I covered a lot of points I'm not going to recover in this one. Dakota Smith, good morning, Dorian. Sunrise on a frightening yet remarkable storm. So yeah, it's the best of times or it's the worst of times. Get busy living, get busy dying. But it's asking crankywxguy, the Wave Master, Ice Cyclone, the Hurricane Man, or Steven Dorff. Raise your hand if you're a model hugger. This is a joke. Apparently the ladies thought Steven Dorff was handsome, and so he dated a bunch of models or something. But yeah, I wouldn't totally trust the models. I wouldn't let your life, your pet's life, your family life, your friend's life depend on it. The next 24 hours will be crucial. And if I had enough money and I lived on the coast in Florida, I sure wouldn't be taking a chance. Michael Ventris, here's the OZ cycle from our new IBM MPAS model regarding the forecast for Hurricane Dorian. What a difficult forecast. The model literally stops the forward progression of Dorian right before landfalling across Florida and then turns north. And so none of this is set in stone. And so that's what I'm talking about. If it did this with that giant pink rainfall total, it would just be catastrophic to brand new levels, which we have never seen in modern history. And so the NAM is showing signs of heavy impact. And like I said, this is really showing, the NAM is showing eye-popping rain totals. No, I don't think it would be 90 inches, but I think that you would not want to be where this storm is when it lands. I don't know, Maury. That sure looks like a monster to me. And the same people who always seem to like the book Dorian Gray, which I never read, the same people who loved H.P. Lovecraft. And I definitely didn't need any madness or torture in my life. If I want to read a book or watch a movie, it better be funny or have a superhero in it. Yes, miracles are still possible. Yes, it could totally miss Florida. Yes, it could curve out to sea. But up and down the whole coast, that thing has the chance to bring hurricane winds and incredible rainfall. And if it were to track up the whole coast, it would drop over 20 inches of rain along thousands of miles. So I'm trying to convey the risk assessment as properly as possible and let you know there are a lot of variables, but I'll say it again. Since April, I've said if it's over a Category 3 hurricane and you're anywhere near the path, I would evacuate. I'm so stressed out by the damage potential of this thing. I don't think I'll be able to sleep until I have a better idea that it is safe. But I think the next few runs will be coming in west. And not only that if the big run comes in to where everybody's like, oh my God, that it would happen. It was tonight, Saturday. I don't even know. It's Labor Day weekend. I'm working nonstop almost all year. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So if the big, oh my God, it's headed back to the west comes in, it'll probably be about the 10Z at like 10:30 tonight when everybody's either out partying or. I know, man. I'm hoping nothing comes from them, but this is just an inches and angles game, and there is so much on the line right here. Okay. Ivan the K, taking a break from being the king of finance Twitter to bust into the hurricane area. Hurricane Dorian projected tracks per Al Roker yesterday versus today. As whatever her face would say, that's very different. So yeah, that was like 24 hours difference. And so in the windshield wiper thing, it's probably going to switch back west. How far? We don't know. But if you were along this coast, and granted, it would take a large south dip to get to Miami, but it's still possible that if you were along this coast and you knew a Cat 5 was coming right over you, would you really want to stay there? And so I will keep you guys posted, and I will do my best to bring you the most fair information I can. I got excited for like an hour yesterday when everyone's like, it's curving out to sea. And then I looked at everything and was like, okay, I'm not excited. Now I'm creeped out. Okay. And if you do want to support me and all my tireless work and me pouring everything into this for so long, you can do it at this address or these addresses. Seriously, thanks everybody that supported me along the way. It's been a wild 7 years, and it's definitely been a wild 2019. All right, everybody stay cool, and I'll talk to y'all soon. God bless everyone.